When it comes to auditing creative, I think that needs to be a very fluid process in the sense that we never want to get into this set it and forget it mentality of, well, here's just what we're going to do and that's going to be it. So as much as I mentioned, it's great to have that plan and be consistent. It is also important to, again, where I talked about looking at the metrics and making sure that we're achieving what it is that we set out to achieve. So, again, I think that's something that we take very seriously here at Stream is that, okay, understanding what that, obviously you can do the audit. You can look at, okay, here are the tactics we're using. Let's take a look at, email templates, display ads, et cetera, and make sure that they're consistent with brand, with tagline, fonts, all those things. Yeah, of course. But again, I think that you don't want to just make it where it's this one and done from a creative perspective. It just has to be that living and breathing. And again, we somewhat sound like broken records, but part of that is because we are going to have to pivot and we are going to have to adapt to what's going on in the marketplace, regardless of the vertical. So again, I think that from just a strict brand perspective, we always want to make sure that everything that we're putting out across all mediums is consistent, does have that same voice, that same tone, and that same visual aesthetic. But it's not a, okay, I did this in January, so I'm good till next year.
Why is it important to have that consistent message? Why would a business need that?
Well, again, I think brand awareness, top level awareness, it's about being memorable and it's about people. You want to make the short list regardless of the vertical that you're in, you want to make sure that when a customer is going to take action, that your business is on the short list. And again, I think that having that consistency, having people, feel and know that brand is something that really helps achieve that. So if you start to get into a situation where you're drastically changing things from medium to medium, people can start to get confused. And then you're starting to lose some of that equity in your brand where,
right,
it maybe looks or sounds different across those mediums.
Right. And people have options as they're shopping. You don't want them to get confused of you versus another. When I was working on the retail side, I distinctly remember being so proud of what we were putting out there. But then our sister store because they had to pass our sister store to get to us, people would just go there and assume that it's the same, and it wasn't the same at all. So yes, that makes a lot of sense. Sarah, we're coming to you. Maybe we can start with, what are the most important elements that people need to kind of check as they kick off this year?
Yeah, I'm going to make these pretty specific and actionable, if that's okay. So first and foremost, really not how to audit, but first make sure you have access to everything. You should have access to your Google Analytics, and you should definitely have access to your Google Ads account. You should own that account. We always say that every time we first talk to a prospective client. So just make sure you have that access and ownership. I guess I'll speak more towards SEO and paid search, since that's what we get asked the most about in terms of, where can we improve, where have things gone wrong. If you've been doing SEO either internally or with an agency for anywhere between 6 and 12 months, it's definitely enough time to start looking at things to, gauge results. So first and foremost, I would look at keyword growth. So again, you or your agency should have some sort of keyword tool that you're able to actually measure that progress over time. So over that 6 to 12 month period, have they grown the ranking of existing keywords? Have they brought in new keywords that you are now ranking for that are of course relevant? And really kind of gauging that over time. Again, it's not going to be that up and to the right kind of progress, but we do want to make sure that we are starting to see that gradual build of total keywords ranking. That's really how we're going to get that diverse traffic. The second thing with SEO is go into Google Analytics and don't just look at total organic traffic. You really want to dig into your specific location. So especially if you are a local business and you are not targeting nationally, you should really be focusing on where exactly your organic traffic is coming from down to that location. And then also look at that organic traffic conversion rate in those locations as well, to really gauge again how relevant that traffic is that's coming to your site. Will they actually buy from you? And then paid search. two main things I always look at. They're like the first screens I go to. Search terms report, that I go to even before keywords. That will tell me immediately the relevancy of the campaigns, the ad groups, and the ads. So for those that need a reminder, search terms are what people are actually putting into Google that triggers your ad to appear, and then they're clicking on it. And then the second thing, last thing, is location targeting. So similar to SEO, we want to make sure we're not only targeting our location, but that when you log in to look at the specific location settings for a campaign, what you want to see is not just like a big radius. You want to see, sure, a larger radius, but then maybe multiple radii kind of layered under that, which will really allow like local businesses, dealerships, retailers to emphasize specific locations. So you can adjust your bids to really be more aggressive, or you can even de-emphasize how aggressive you want to be in a specific location, depending on where you want to sell. So that's always really important, especially if a business has a smaller marketing budget.
Those are great. Those are all very tactical things that people can check today to make sure they're in the right spot. Obviously, we need to build off of that. I'm certain that we're going to get asked to do a digital specific audit webinar soon, but that's a great place to start. Thank you. All right, Rich.
All right.
We've now crafted the perfect message. We've placed the digital ads. They come to our website. What do we now need to do, or what do we need to audit to make sure that businesses are capturing these customers both online and then converting them to actual buyers? What do we need to cover?
So, as Dave mentioned, after you crafted this perfect creative and the integrated media teams go out and find the best way to drive business to your site, your website, and you get to the website and, oh no, it's horrible. The process, it's not working right. We can't get to certain, the digital retailing tool is not working. I just had an experience the other day where I was trying to make a service appointment for a vehicle of my own personal vehicle, and their entire online service appointment was completely grayed out. You couldn't make an appointment for a year. So, and I'm pretty sure they're not booked out for a year. So I think the one thing I would tell everyone is really, you're spending all this money to drive, again, people to your site, which is great. And we can talk about conversions. We talk about those other things. One of the things we always talk about with our clients, we talk about our website merchandising to make sure that all the pieces, that you're not getting 404 codes, that it's easy to use. You can actually get in and out of if you're having digital retailing, but even in non-automotive, making sure all those pieces, make sure phone numbers are working, making sure that when you click on something, you actually go to that page. Remember, this is your new, not even new, it's been going on for a long time, but this is your digital front door. I mean, if someone came to your front door as a guest for dinner and knocked on your front door and you had, trash on the ground and you didn't open the door for 10 minutes, and when they came in, you didn't offer them a drink. I mean, that's what the website's doing to somebody who gets to a website and it's not functioning properly or not giving the information you're clicking on. Just a really bad experience.